Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another playthrough of Aeon's End. Today we're going to be going up against Maggoth, and we're going to be playing against the increased difficulty level. So any Unleash effect places one fly and one maggot into play instead of just two maggots. For anyone not familiar, flies and maggots are the minions, and the maggot has 1 health. And the fly has 2. So the flies are harder to kill because you need to do more damage. So that's why it's increased difficulty. I've set up the market on the left there just to run through what cards we're going to be playing with. Sifter's Pearl, that's a cost of 3. Clouded Sapphire, cost of 6. And Unrefined Blaststone at a cost of 6 as well. Those are the 3 gems. The first relic is Marble Galaxy, cost of 2, and the second is Molten Hammer for a cost of 5. This Marble Galaxy came with the New Age expansion, and Molten Hammer was in the first wave of content. The first spell is Reverberating Shock. This is a spell from the New Age as well. It's a new spell that Echo, or new mechanic called Echo, which basically allows you to deal it twice. The second is Blaze. The third is Devouring Shadow. And the fourth is Wildfire Whip. So this was in the original game, the original wave of content. So that's the market that we're using today. I'll just put these back and then we'll get started. So Maggoth starts with 45 health, and Gravehold, as usual, starts with 30. The Gygar's going to have the green dice for his health, and Xaxos white. These are the 2 mages we're using today. The way I do the turn order is I draw dice out of the bag. When a red die is drawn, it's the Nemesis turn. When a green die is drawn, it's Gygar's turn. And when a white die is drawn, it's Xaxos' turn. So I think that is everything for setup. So I think we can get started. So the first turn goes to, it's Gygar. So he has Tidal Surge, which I'm going to prep on his Ancient Breach, and Spark, which I'll prep on Breach 2. And he has 3 crystals to spend. Now, unfortunately, that's not enough to buy any of the spells. We only got spells with the minimum of 4 cost, so I'm just going to have to buy a Sifter's Pearl. And then we draw back up to 5. 3, 4, 5. And the second turn it's Xaxos. So he starts with a Flare, which is his special starting card, and then he has 4 crystals. So I have 4 ether, and I'm going to buy a Reverberating Echo, or Reverberating Shock. And then we draw back up to 5. Next turn is Nemesis. So the Nemesis it's a power card, so in order to discard it, we have to discard 3 cards in hand, and it's a power 1. Place a maggot into play, then place 2 flies into play. So we'll leave that there, and we will put a power 1 on it. The next is, it's Xaxos. Okay, so place a maggot into play and place 2 flies into play. Okay. So we can cast this Flare, so reveal the top card of the turn order deck. So I'll just draw a die, and then place it back on top of the turn order deck. If you revealed a player turn order card, deal 3 damage, otherwise deal 1 damage. So the top one it's the Nemesis, so we're only going to deal 1 damage. And that's going to be the next that's going to be on top of the turn order deck, so it has to be the next one to be drawn. So we'll deal 1 damage, and we'll do the damage to that. We then move on to the main phase. I'm going to prep that, and I think I will 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to buy a Sifter's Pearl. 3, 4, yeah. Let's buy a Sifter's Pearl, and then we will magnet. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw back up to 5, and then it's the Nemesis turn. So this gets resolved. It's place a maggot into play, and then place 2 flies into play, and that gets discarded. And the next one is place a fly into play. Any player suffers 3 damage. So place 1 fly. This does 2 damage to Gravehold, and hatch 1 fly. And then any player suffers 3 damage. So I will do that damage to Gygar. And that is that. And then the last turn has to be Gygar. And for this, I will cast the Tidal Surge, which gains me a charge. I will cast the Spark, which does 1 damage, and I'll do that to the Fly, which takes it down to a Maggot. I'll prep the Tidal Surge and the Spark, and then we have 3 to spend. Again, this is a bit awkward. I think for this I will buy a Marble Galaxy. Yep, I'll buy a Marble Galaxy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then next turn goes to Nemesis. And this is Unleash. Gravehold suffers 1 damage, any player suffers 2 damage. So the Unleash is the increased difficulty. So we place 1 fly and 1 maggot. So 1 fly and 1 maggot into play. Gravehold suffers 1 damage, goes to 27. And any player suffers 2. I'm going to give that to Xaxos, so he's down to 8. And the next is Xaxos. Okay, so I will cast the Spark, which does 1 damage, and I will do that to this Maggot. I will prep Reverberating Shock, and I have 4 ether to spend. So for this, I think I will 2, 4. I think for this I will 4. I will buy another Reverberating Shock, and then we draw back up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn then, it's Gygar. So I'm going to cast the Tidal Surge, which gives me a charge. I think I will 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll prep Tidal Surge, and then I have 5 ether to spend. So I will play these 5 ether. The Sifter's Pearl allows me to, for each player, they reveal the top card of their deck and either discard it or return it to the top of their deck. So I'll reveal that. I'm going to discard it. And then for this it is a crystal, and I think for that I'm going to discard it. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5 ether. And for this I'm going to buy a reverberating shock, put that into hand, draw back up to 5, 3, 4, and we get the 5th. Yep. The next turn is Xaxos. So for this turn I am going to cast the Echo, which deals 1 damage, and I gain 1 ether that can only be used to gain cards. So I deal 1 damage, I'll do that, and I get 1 ether to gain cards. Because it's an Echo, I do it again, and I deal 1 damage and get another ether. So I have 2 more ether if I want to spend it on cards. I'm going to prep the flare. I have 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 ether, or I can spend 7 on cards. Or I can 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to spend 5 to open Breach 2, and then I'm going to spend the 2 from the Echo to gain cards, and I'm going to gain a Marble Galaxy, and that is 1. Because I played a Sifter's Pearl, each player can reveal the top card of their turn order deck. So the top card for Xaxos is Spark, and I'm going to discard it. And the top card for Gygar is a Spark, and I will discard that. And that is the end of that turn. And we draw back up to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is Gygar. So I'll cast the Tidal Surge, which gives me a charge. Prep Tidal Surge, and I have 3 ether and a Marble Galaxy. So unfortunately Xaxos doesn't have a Marble Galaxy in hand, so I can either gain 1 charge or focus my closed breach with the lowest focus cost. And I think I'm going to use this to gain a charge, and you'll see why in a minute. So I now have 4 out of 5 charges, and I have 3 ether, and I think I'm going to spend the last buy another charge. So I'm now fully charged up, and I'm going to spend those 5 charges to place a Surge token on the Ancient Breach, and for that I'm just going to use a dice. And for each Surge token on the Ancient Breach, the spell that is cast off deals 1 additional damage per Surge token. So that will hopefully pay off shortly. That's that. So we draw back up to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last turn has to be then the Nemesis. And it is a power card. We can spend 6 to discard it. It's a power 3. Place 3 maggots into play. Any player suffers 3 damage. So power 3. I'm gonna put 1 there, and then this is 3. Next turn goes to the Nemesis. So that goes to 2. And we have an attack card. So unleash twice, any player gains 2 charges, or Gravefall suffers 4 damage. And I think for this I'm going to take Gravefall down to 23. the reason I did that was I didn't want the increased difficulty to put 2 flies and 2 maggots on that, and then Gravehole would suffer 2 damage, and they would also hatch 2 flies as well. So the next turn is the Nemesis, so that goes to 1, and we get a minion. So Cariode Colony, immediately this minion suffers damage equal to the number of players in the game. So it has 8, there's 2 players, so it goes to 6, and then persistent effect is Unleash. So we go to 6, and that's that. Next is Gygar. So I'm going to cast Tidal Surge, which gives me 1 charge and deals 1 damage. I'll take that to 5, and he gets a charge. And then I will also, I'll prep that. I'll cast this Spark first, take it to 4. 4. I'll prep the Reverberating Shock. And then I have 2, 3, 4, 5 ether. I'm going to buy a Sifter's Pearl for 3, and then buy another charge for 2. That's a total of 5. The Sifter's Pearl allows each player to look at the top of the card of their deck, and it's the Spark, which I'm going to discard, and then for Xaxos it is a Crystal, which I'm also going to discard, and that is his turn. And draw back up. 3, 4, 5. The next turn is Xaxos. So we 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to cast Flare. So reveal the top card of the turn order deck, and the top card is Gygar. Then place it back on top of the turn order deck. If you reveal the player turn order card, deal 3 damage, and we're going to do that to, I'll do that to the minion. That's that cast. And then I will prep Reverberating Shock, and then I have 4 ether. And for this I'm going to buy 2 charges with the 4 ether. Draw back up to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn we already know is going to be Gygar. So Gygar. And for this I'm going to 3. For this I'm going to cast the Reverberating Shock, which deals 1 damage, and I get 1 for gaining cards. 3. I'm going to do 1 damage to the minion, and then so that's cast. We damage the minion for 1, which kills him. Unfortunately, because it was on the Celestial Breach, we're missing out on 1 damage there, because it deals 1 plus the 1 for the Surge token. But that's okay to get rid of the minion. And then the Echo I'm going to do here. So we do 1 damage plus the 1 for the Surge token, takes it to 43. And then I'm going to prep Tidal Surge on the Ancient Breach, and I'm going to play Marble Galaxy. So any ally may discard a Marble Galaxy in hand and draw a card. So I'm going to discard this from Xaxos, and he draws a Crystal, which isn't very helpful. I gain 1 charge or focus my Closed Breach with the lowest focus cost, but because the ally discarded it, I can do both. So I gain 1 charge and focus this breach. And after that I have 3 ether, or 5, plus 2 to spend on cards. I think for this I'm going to spend 2 to get another charge. Actually no, I'm going to buy a reverberating shock, using the 3 plus the ether from the reverberating shock that I cast. I'm sorry, this should be... I'm going to discard. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn goes to its Xaxos. 2, 3, 4. So unfortunately we don't have 6 ether. Although that's unfortunate. Okay, so I'm going to cast Reverberating Echo, which deals 1 damage, so 42, and I gain 1 ether to gain cards, and then because it's an echo I deal another damage and gain another ether to gain cards. Prep these 2. So I have 2, 3, 4 in hand, or if I want I can spend 2 plus these on cards. So I think I'm going to buy a Wildfire Whip. So I'll spend the 4 plus the 2 from the Echo. And then because I played a Sifter's Pearl, I can, each player can, I'll discard that. And for this, I will discard it. 3, 4. And that is that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we move on. Next goes to its Gygar. So we still don't have enough ether to get rid of the power card. So I'm going to cast the Tidal Surge, which gives me a charge and also does 1 damage, which I'm going to do to the Nemesis. And then I'm going to prep Tidal Surge, prep a Spark, and then I have 4 money. I think for this I will buy another charge for 2. Which fully charges me up again, and then I'll spend those charges to increase this to 2. And then I'll spend the remaining 2 on another charge. Which keeps this Spark in hand then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Spark is 5. Next turn is the Nemesis. So this gets resolved, and it is place 3 maggots into play. Any player suffers 3 damage. Maggots into play, and for this I will take Xaxos down to 5, which is unfortunate. And then we draw another power, spend 7. If there are 7 or less total flies and maggots, place 3 flies and 1 maggot into play. Otherwise, any player suffers 4 damage. Ooh. So that's power 3. The next turn is Gygar again. So for the Tidal Surge, I will cast that. It gains me 1 charge and does 2 damage. And for that I will deal that to the maggots. And I think I will cast the Spark, which deals another damage. Prep Reverberating Echo. I want that on the Celestial Breach because or the Ancient Breach, sorry, because it will deal additional damage because of the Surge token. I will prep that, and I have 2 ether here, which I'm going to spend on another charge. And again, I'm left holding a spark, unfortunately. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is Gygar's turn. Next turn is Xaxos. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. Really struggling with to get good amount of ether in hand to be able to discard those cards. So I will cast the Reverberating Shock, which deals 1 damage and again 1 ether. So 3, 4. I'm going to do a damage to the Nemesis, takes it to 39, and then because it's an echo, I do another one and goes to 38. I'll prep that flare. So I have 4 ether in hand plus the 2 from Reverberating Shock, and I'm going to buy a Clouded Sapphire. And that is Xaxos' turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn then is it's Xaxos again. And for this turn I will I'll cast the because I know it's going to be the Nemesis next turn. I'm a bit hesitant to cast the Flare, but I think I will because I want those breaches free. So it's going to do 1 damage, so deal 1 damage, and for that I will take it to 37. I'll cast the Spark as well, which goes to 36. And then I'll prep Wildfire with and Reverberating Shock. For Marble Galaxy, does Gygar have one in hand? He does indeed. That would give him a crystal. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I'm going to play Marble Galaxy, and I'm going to have Gygar discard his, and he will then draw 1 card more. I will gain 1 charge and focus my close breach with the lowest focus cost, and I can do both because Gygar discarded his. And with the remaining 2, I'm just going to buy another charge, so we're at 4 charges now. And that is discard the Marble Galaxy, and then that is his turn over. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last turn then has to be the Nemesis. So that goes to 2. And it's an attack card. So unleash twice. Any player suffers 1 damage and places their most expensive card in hand on top of their deck. So let's do the unleash twice, which is 1 fly and 1 maggot. Okay, so twice. So 1 fly, 1 maggot, 1 fly, 1 maggot, which does 2 damage to Gravehold and hatches 2 flies. So I will hatch that and that. And then any player suffers 1 damage and discards their most expensive card in hand to the top of their deck. So Gygar has only 0 cost cards, and Xaxos has a 6 cost card. So I think for this I'm going to have Gygar discard 3, 4, 5. Or I'm going to place the Spark on top of the deck. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. So next turn then, well actually that's the round over, so we go back. And the next turn is Gygar. Okay, So now we can see the power of the surge tokens and the echoes. So I'll cast this echo first. It deals 1 damage and I gain 1 ether for gaining cards. So for this I will deal 1 and I gain 1 ether, and then because it's an echo I'll deal another. And then I will also cast this. This does 1 damage plus the 2 from the surge token, so it's 3 damage. I'll take it to 31 and I gain 1 ether, and then I will cast it again, which does another 1 plus the 2 from the surge, takes it to 28 plus the 2 ether I have for gaining cards. So I have 4 ether in hand plus 2, and I'm going to buy a Wildfire Whip. Discard down and gain 5. And the next turn then it's Xaxos. Okay, so for this I think I will 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For this I'm going to I will cast the Wildfire Whip, which does 4 damage, and I think for that I will go to 24, and then I will cast the Reverberating Shock, which deals 1 damage, and for that I will go to 23, and then it deals another for 22. I will prep Reverberating Shock, and I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and for using these 7 I'm going to discard this power card. And because I played Sifter's Pearl, I can reveal the top card of each deck. It's a crystal, I'm going to discard it for him, and it's a spark, and I'm going to discard it for Gygar as well. And then because I played the Clouded Sapphire, if this is the first time you have played Clouded Sapphire this turn, any ally gains a charge. So Gygar is going to get his 4th charge, and that is that turn. So quite a productive turn there. Next is Xaxos again. So we draw back up to 5, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm going to deal 2 damage to the Nemesis because that's an echo spell, and I'll gain 2 to get to buy cards. I'm going to prep those 2. 3, 4, 5. I think here. I think I'm going to spend 2 to gain a charge, which fully charges him up. And then I have 1 left plus the 2 from Reverberating Echo. So I could buy a Marble Galaxy or a Sifter's Pearl. I think I'll leave it. I won't buy anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn is Gygar. So I will prep that, which gives, and then I will prep that as well. And I have 4 left, so I think I will spend 2 to gain a charge, which fully charges me up. And I think I will cast a spell, Prep to your Ancient Breach. I will spend these, so I'll spend all 5 to do the second effect, cast a spell, Prep to your Ancient Breach, gain 2 charges. So I'll cast Tidal Surge, which gives me a charge and does 2 damage, which I'm going to give to the Nemesis. So that's him down to 18, and then I gain 2 charges, which gives me back up to 3. I'm going to prep the Spark to the Ancient Breach, and so I have 2 left over, which I'm going to use to buy another charge. So he's back up to 4. And because I played the Sifter's Pearl, we can reveal the top cards. It's a crystal I'm going to discard, and it's a crystal, and I'm going to discard that as well. And that's his turn. So he draws back up to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And sorry, I just adjusted the lighting because it was getting quite dark. The next turn then has to be the Nemesis. He has two in a row now. So this is Vile Breeder. It has a persistent effect, and it's place a maggot into play. Any player suffers 2 damage. Ooh, that could be bad. That could be bad. So 9. And then the next is obviously the Nemesis. And it's a power card, so we can discard it for 7 ether. Unleash twice, the players collectively discard 3 cards in hand. Sorry, I should have resolved this. Place a maggot into play. Any player suffers 2 damage. I will give that to Gygar. And this is a power 1 card. 1. And that is that for that turn. The next card, it's the Nemesis again. Maggot into play. Any player suffers 2 damage. I will give that to Xaxos, and this gets resolved. Unleash twice. So we're placing 1 maggot and 1 fly and 1 maggot twice. So 1 fly, 1 maggot, and that's Gravefall suffers 2 damage. Hatch 3 flies. So 1, 2, 3. Unleash twice, the players collectively discard 3 cards in hand. So for this, I think I'm going to want to I think I will. That's not ideal. I think I'm gonna have Gygar discard 2, which leaves him with 3, and then well, actually no. I want to keep the Marble Galaxy in his hand, so I'm going to have Gygar discard 1, and I'm going to have Xaxos discard 2. Yeah, I'll do that. And that is that. And then one more is unleash twice. Any player or Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Oh no. 1 fly and 1 maggot. 1 fly, 1 maggot. Gravehold suffers 5, takes it to 14. Any player or Gravehold suffers 3 damage, so we'll take Gravehold down to 11, and that is that. Next turn is Gygar. So for this, I'm going to cast the Spark, which does 1 damage plus the 2 from the token, which goes to 16. Oh, this is not good. Actually, I think I'm going to do that damage to these, because it's getting too close to losing there. And then I'm going to cast the Tidal Surge, and gains me a charge, which means I'm fully charged up. Then I am going to prep Wildfire Whip. No, I will prep Reverberating Echo. And for that, I'm going to cast a spell placed to my Ancient Breach, gain 2 charges. So I'm going to cast it, which does 1 plus 2 is 3, takes it to 15. And I gain 1 ether, and then because it's an echo, I do another 3. So 3, and I gain 2 charges. 1, 2. And then I'm going to prep Wildfire Whip and Reverberating Echo. And then play Marble Galaxy. Any ally may discard a Marble Galaxy. And if I do, I think I will not have him discarded. I'm just going to gain a charge. And then for the last, I'm going to activate Xaxos' special ability. Activate during any player's main phase. Allies collectively gain 4 charges. Reveal the turn order deck and return the revealed cards in any order. So I'm going to gain 4 charges, which fully charges me up again. I'm going to reveal the turn order deck and return the revealed cards in any order. So I'm going to have, yeah, I'll do that. So this is the order of play now. And then for the last, I'm going to cast a spell to my Ancient Breach and gain another 2 charges. So I'm going to cast the Wildfire Whip, which does 4 plus 2. 4 damage, taking the Nemesis to 9. Plus 2 for the Surge token, takes him to 7. And actually, I could have held this back and then prepped that to there, which I'm going to do. And that is Gygar's turn. Sorry, we spent all these charges. And we draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn is, we already know, Xaxos. So, I'm going to cast the Flare. So reveal the top card of the turn order deck. It's Gygar. If it is a player turn order card, deal 3 damage. I'll take the Nemesis down to 4. And that's that. I will cast the Spark, takes it to 3. And then I will prep these 2. And I will play Marble Galaxy to gain 1 charge. And that's that. And the next turn, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next turn then is Gygar. And for this I'm going to cast Reverberating Echo, which does 3 damage and takes the Nemesis to 0. So we win. We beat Maggoth in the increased difficulty mode. So that was... I thought it was getting quite close there when we got up to Gravefall suffering 5 damage. I think we were really hampered by the lack of low cost decent gems. So there is a gem that allows you to gain 3 ether and it costs 5. That would have been very, very useful. But I hope this has kind of illustrated the potential for Gygar's Ancient Breach. Like once you get the Surge tokens up to like 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5, even a Spark becomes incredibly powerful. So if we had 4 Surge tokens on that, this would deal 5 damage every time it's cast from the Ancient Breach. So his special ability is so powerful. Like casting a spell on the Ancient Breach and then immediately gaining back 2 charges. Like if you have a good economy, you can basically fill this every turn, or potentially fill it every turn. I think also like you saw the power of Xaxos' special ability, being able to order the turn order deck, and also gaining 4 charges. Any ally gains 4 charges, or allies collectively gain 4 charges. So they pair really well as their 2 special abilities, because every time you use this one, he can gain 4 charges. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's the first time I've tried Maggoth on the increased difficulty. It was definitely an interesting battle. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions or things you would have done differently. Otherwise, thanks for joining, and I'll see you again next time.